This stream is brought to you by Mr. Donair. Bring that classic Donair flavor home in minutes with Mr. Donair's Donair Kit, the original East Coast Donair. Perfect for game night. Want the full setup? Mr. Donair makes its own Donair sauce, Donair dunkers, and Donair sausages. And don't forget the Mr. Donair pizza when you want it simple and fast. You can grab Mr. Donair at Costco, Sobeys, Giant Tiger, Superstore, Gateway, and Needs. Mr. Donair, game night made easy. Now, back to the action. This stream is brought to you by Mr. Donair. Bring that classic Donair flavor home in minutes with Mr. Donair's Donair Kit, the original East Coast Donair. Perfect for game night. Want the full setup? Mr. Donair makes its own Donair sauce, Donair dunkers, and Donair sausages. And don't forget the Mr. Donair pizza when you want it simple and fast. You can grab Mr. Donair at Costco, Sobeys, Giant Tiger, Superstore, Gateway, and Needs. Mr. Donair, game night made easy. Now, back to the action.
at death notes for the play in our national anthem.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to beautiful Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia. You're watching game number 2 of the Mr. Donair Cup Finals. My name is Mason Knight here with High Button Sports, joined alongside Logan Carruthers. Logan, what are you looking forward to here in game 2?
Well, I'm sure it's going to be an intense physical matchup. It was in game 1. We were very impressed with the physicality and how into the game these two teams were. For the Hunters, I'm looking. Make sure they keep it simple. We talked about it last week. Kiss hockey. They got to play kiss hockey and limit the turnovers from the ringette lines up to the blue lines on both ends of the ice. On the other side, the Valley Wildcats, they got to use their skill. I think they have a little more skill than the Hunters, so they got to outskill them, use their skill to their advantage. They also are going to have to outwork this team here tonight. You know the Hunters are in good shape, and they got to stay disciplined. The Hunters' power play has been rolling here in the postseason.
Special teams has been a big factor for Cole Harbour. They scored shorthanded in game 1 off the stick of Justin Cluett, who's out there to start the opening faceoff. We're underway. Looks like Ludy's playing defense tonight for the Hunters. He's been back and forth on both sides of the puck all season long. As St. Clair will take it at neutral ice. St. Clair plays it back, and here is Ludy. He'll go D to D over to Swift. Dawson Swift has the most points for a defenseman in the U18 major playoffs overall. Here comes St. Clair. Pass towards the goal, looking in front for Fletcher. An early chance for the Wildcats as that'll be chipped in deep. Here comes Beliveau. Remy Beliveau looks to advance the puck, is kind of fanned on it there as Gerard will take over. Ludy, he has the puck on his stick. Will Ludy through the middle of the ice, enters his own, drops it for Baldwin. Baldwin nice smooth to get by the defender. Pass for Urquhart. Save made, point blank. Big test to start things off for Maddox Newman, who did not get the start in game 1, but he's in between the pipes for game number 2. Both teams going with a different goaltender for this matchup. You got to remember, Logan, it is a development series, so that's what the goal is, to give everyone a look here late in the season.
Yeah, absolutely, and both goaltenders are going to look. We'll see if they stick with them after this one and pick a starting goaltender for the rest of the series, or they'll stay flip-flopping.
Here's Connolly behind the net looking to wrap it through. He takes a hit from Gibbs. Here's a chance off the rebound. Save made as chance the other way. Here comes Urquhart. Cameron Urquhart looking good by the defender, but can't do so as Betts strips him of the puck. Chance for Fleming the other way. He had a great first game of the series last Wednesday. Number 72 in red scored, as here is Gibbs. So backhand up the wall. It's going to miss the stick as Hickey finds it on his blue line. Turned over. Urquhart will chip it into the zone. Wildcats have possession as Wilson goes up for Darius Pay, who did not play in game 1. He's back in the lineup for the Wildcats here in game 2, who are missing a few bodies. As Hines will collect the puck and send it to the opposite corner. We're now 2 minutes into game number 2. Puck in the corner. Stoddard tangled up with Kalita. Puck comes free for Pay. Shot off the crossbar. Good look there for number 86 to open the scoring in his return to the lineup. Wilson pinching through. He has the puck on the wall. Gets pinned to the boards. Puck comes free. Here is Wilson. He'll spin and fire it in deep. Looking to retrieve the puck is Romaine, but Hickey pinching through, gets it for a moment. Romaine gets it back. Pass from Martin. That gets picked off. Hickey will try and back him one in deep. Puck bounces right back on his stick. Here's Hickey at the top of the slot. Shot off a stick and wide into the corner. Here's Pay. Good shift here for the Wildcats in the O-zone. As off the bench is Zach Banks, plays for the U18 AAA Valley Wildcats. He's called up here for this game as the Wildcats are without a few bodies. Here's Kalita. Florida Kalita will backhand one in the zone. Newman out to play it. Newman over to Betts. Wildcats are looking to break out. There's a pass across. Fletcher looking for Banks. He'll go off the wall and collect the puck through the center. Here's Banks, shot low at the pad. Rebound created but covered up. Noah Pollock makes a save. And Logan, where is Jacob Seaman tonight?
Jacob Seaman is playing for the Basin Blainville Armada, thinking of the U16 team.
Yeah.
And he's up playing in St. John. Got the call up to play tonight, as they'll come here tomorrow night to play Halifax. So we'll see if he's in the lineup again in back-to-back games. But that's why you're seeing a couple Valley Wildcats in this lineup that may not be on the game sheet regularly.
That's right.
Throughout the regular season, but they're coming in here. We'll see how the back end holds up for them, as Jacob Seaman is a big loss on the back end. He's probably their best defenseman on the back end, so we'll see how the back end fares here tonight against the Hunters.
Not only his offensive play will be missed, but that physicality and leadership. It's going to be a big hole in the lineup here in game number 2. Here's Ludi. Pass up ahead for Cluett. Cluett through the middle for Baldwin. Here come the Hunters. Baldwin over to Beliveau. Could handle that puck cleanly. That's going to come free. Here comes Banks. He'll play it through the middle in the opposite corner. As the Wildcats will peel off for a change. Fletcher stays out there. He'll get the puck on the forecheck behind the goal line. Fletcher takes a hit from Swift. As that will go off his stick and bounce in the corner. There's Cluett. Up ahead, Beliveau has the puck, might have a 2-on-1 with Baldwin, but fan on the pass. Here's Hood. Hunter Hood. Up for Connolly as he nearly avoids a hit from Gibbs, who's trying to lay the body here early once again. We saw his physicality in game 1, no different here in the second game of the series. Here's Baldwin. He'll take a hit from Connolly, makes the play over to Gibbs. Here comes Schaefer. Gibbs' shot will go off the blocker of Newman in the corner. Here's Wilson. Wilson over to Hickey. Hickey up to Morgan Fleming. Nice move in his own zone. He'll play it up to the wall for Connolly. Plays it back. Here's Wilson. As that will be sent up for Hood. He'll chip it into the zone. 4.5 minutes into the first period here in game number 2 in Cole Harbour. There's a hit on the forecheck from Connolly. Frees out the puck. Fleming has it. Nice move in the corner. Fleming still has it down low. Over to Connolly. Connolly will get stripped of the puck, and that will be iced down the sheets by the Hunters, who can't change.
Back and forth action once again in this one. Hey, Mason, they've been up and down the sheet. Couple chances on both ends. What do you think so far?
Well, you probably saw the score from last game. 2 empty netters. It was a lot closer of a game than you would have thought if you just saw the box score. Back and forth last game, back and forth to start things off here tonight.
I think it'll continue throughout this series as well.
As the Wildcats looking to tie the series. There's a shot from the point from Wilson. That'll be gloved down by Pollock. Face-off will be to the blocker side. Once again, the Hunters can now change. They were unable to do so due to the icing on the previous play, but they are able to now. Shots are 4-1 in favor of the Valley, so a big start for them, looking to even things up. Game number 3 will be Friday night in Berwick, while a potential game 4 would be on Saturday at the Apple Dome as well. Puck dropped. There's Kalita. He'll wrap it down low. Braden Martin there to collect the puck. Martin did not play in game 1. He's back out there for the second game of the series. He has the Junior B East Sands Penguin stickers on his helmet. He's played a few games for them this year. There's a shot will go past the glove side and wide. As Boudreaux will hold it. Shot will be tipped wide of the net by Martin with the backhand. Another chance from the blue line. Valley able to defend that one. Pass up ahead. Here comes Jesse St. Clair. St. Clair will take it wide, might have the lane of the net, but he couldn't get that one towards the goal. Here's Fletcher down low. Fletcher out there with both St. Clair's. The centering pass will hop over the stick of Jesse, the captain, who tried to corral that on his backhand, but couldn't do so. Here's a chance for the way from McKnight. McKnight had a goal in game 1. Pass will be deflected on goal. Kalita gets that one on net, but Newman makes the save. Face-off will be inside the Valley zone. Take a look at their top scorers in the playoffs quickly. Morgan Fleming, 3 goals, 2 assists to lead the way. Isaac Connolly also with 5 points, but he only has 1 goal to go along with 4 assists. Who did you like the most on the Valley side in game 1, Logan?
I really like the game of Jesse Sinclair. He plays hard, he plays physical, he's the leader, he tries to lead by example, and we're going to see a first power play of this game. But yeah, I really like Jesse Sinclair. He played a very physical and hard game last game, and he plays that all season long, so I'm sure he'll continue it here in this Mr. Donair Cup.
So looks like it'll be Stoddard for 2 minutes for head contact. So we talked about this Hunters power play. Justin Cluett, 3 power play goals. He'll take the face off. You know, Gibbs is going to be looking around that front of the net looking for that tip, as that's going to be one back in the corner by the Wildcats. A little bit of a 2-on-2 in the corner. That will free up the puck as Gibbs finds it. He'll play the line for Swift. Over to Cluett in the half wall. Cluett towards the goal for Belleville. Belleville looking to center it in front for Gibbs. Couldn't have that bounce his way as Baldwin got taken down in front. And that will be corrected by the Wildcats and cleared down the ice. Hawk out to play it. Swift will take a look up ice before picking up the puck. Sign of a smart defenseman. There's Swift. Up for Gibbs on the left side. Gibbs will get the red line and rim it around the wall. Cluett in the forward check looking to get there first. That will make its way in the corner up top. Here's Swift. Swift over to Baldwin. Baldwin finds Cluett at the top of the circle on the near side. Cluett goes to the middle. Cluett back for Baldwin. Baldwin shot through the screen, just misses the blocker side post. Here's Cluett up top. Cluett's shot will be tipped just wide. It's Gibbs. Got to stick on that one in the high slot. Redirected it in the corner. Here's Hood off the turnover. He'll softly chip that down the ice. Wildcats to make some changes. So will the Hunters as the second unit will come out there for JP McCallum. Here's Baldwin. Jack Baldwin puts the brakes on the far side hash mark. Baldwin drops it off for Urquhart. Here's Andrew Urquhart. Will switch spots up top with Cameron Urquhart, his brother. Here's Swift, so out there for this power play. Swift over to Ludi off the bench. Ludi's shot will go off a skate and wide. Urquhart back to the line. Here's Swift. One touch pass to Ludi. Back for Swift up top. Swift will hesitate and make a move and shoot one that will just bounce wide. It might have hit a body in front. As Wilson, chance to clear his pay with a stick lift there. Here's Urquhart up for Ludi. Ludi looking for a lane down low for Cameron Urquhart that will bounce off of his stick. There's a collision on the wall. As Pay looking to dig that free. There's 1 second to go on the power play. We're back to 5-on-5. Valley will kill off the first penalty of the game. What did you like out of that Hunters power play, Logan?
Yeah, they got set up. It was a little bit perimeter. They had a couple shots looking for some sticks. I like that shot looking for a stick and looking for a tip. That's why we saw a couple goals last week, Mason. And I'm sure that's going to be another. I'm sure we're going to see more of it, I guess I should say, throughout this game and probably the series. We
were talking before the game, a full week in between game 1 and 2. Lots of time to make those adjustments. So let's see what we have in store here after a full week off to watch video. As Fleming, on the forecheck, there's a collision on the boards. Fleming frees up the puck. We'll play it to the slot. There's a chance for St. Clair. Couldn't get that one on his stick off the pass from Fletcher. Fleming turns it over again. Here comes Morgan Fleming on the goal line. Backhand save made by Polk as Fleming gets taken down. And that will draw a penalty, so the Wildcats will head to the man advantage. That's going to be touched up and whistled down. Tripping will be the signal. Fleming draws the call.
I think if we were to look back on that one, I think he might have toe picked a little bit there, trying to cut through.
Got to give credit to Fleming, though. He did create those 2 turnovers in order to get himself in that position.
Yeah, credit where credit's due. You create a penalty because of how that looked, right? He got a chance right after. The rebound was just out of his reach. He goes down, and it's going to be a power play for them. Back-to-back power plays here in the first.
Fleming will stay out there for the man advantage. Out there with Betts, Connolly, Pay, and Wilson. As there's a pass to the goal line, Connolly's all alone in front. Pay looking to whack it through as Polk finds it through the barrage and he'll freeze play. There's a scrum in front of the net.
Time of 8 minutes, 49 seconds. Penalty sure by number 10, Andrew Urquhart.
So let's see what they can do in the power play without Seaman at the top of those point shots. Looks like Wilson will take his spot.
I like that first little look, different look on the power play for them. They almost have a box +1 here tonight, so we'll see a little more, some adjustments from the Wildcats.
Wasn't a great showing for their power play in game 1, so they had to switch things up, of course. So you can see that week-long break definitely had a factor as they have a whole new scheme for this power play.
Week-long break to get your legs under you as well.
There's a battle for the puck on the wall behind the net. Comes free for Hood. Hood as Fleming towards the goal, plays it up top for Betts. Betts shot through the screen will be covered up by Polk, because once again he sees that through the bodies in front of the net. Shots 8-4 for the Valley. Still no score here in Cole Harbour. Hunters will set out some new penalty killers.
Just noticing they sent out Cade Romaine, the call-up for the Hunters. He played last week for them as well, and he played a really solid game. A little bit of faith here on the PK for the call-up.
He definitely earned the coach's trust with his play in game one. You know, he wasn't too flashy, but you don't need that out of an AP. He was just getting those pucks north and keeping it away from his own crease, as that's going to be worked in by Beliveau. Same five stay out there for this Wildcats power play. Here's Betts over to Hood. Hood with a nice move to enter the zone, drops it back for Connolly. Connolly up for Fleming, that will bounce over his stick. Betts will regroup in center ice. 55 seconds to go on the penalty of the Hunters. Here's Betts. A little cross ice for Darius Pay. Pay, number 86 in red, will make his way to the slot. Drops it off of the line, but St. Clair was thinking zag, not zig, on that exchange. Here's the captain, St. Clair. With 40 seconds to go on the power play, that's going to be another penalty against the Hunters. Cluett will head to the box, and that will take us into the halfway point. We'll have a 5-on-3 power play for 34 seconds after the break.
This stream is brought to you by Mr. Donair. Bring that classic Donair flavor home in minutes with Mr. Donair's Donair Kit, the original East Coast Donair. Perfect for game night. Want the full setup? Mr. Donair makes its own Donair sauce, Donair dunkers, and Donair sausages. And don't forget the Mr. Donair pizza when you want it simple and fast. You can grab Mr. Donair at Costco, Sobeys, Giant Tiger, Superstore, Gateway, and Needs. Mr. Donair, game night made easy. Now, back to the action.
Welcome back to Cole Harbour. 34 seconds of 5-on-3 for the Valley. They had a chance to catch their break in that TV timeout. What should they do here, Logan, to try and generate some offense with two guys in their favor?
Well, yeah, your obviously goal is to try to score before the 34-second mark, so you still have a 5-on-4 power play. But I think they just got to get the triangle of the Hunters spread out a little bit, maybe a couple switches and a one-timer chance here.
Here's Fleming. Over to St. Clair. Plays it down low. There's a pass across looking for Fletcher. That was a look they probably drew up during that timeout, but couldn't execute. Fleming will walk to the slot, dishes it off. Up top, St. Clair will try and shoot one, but loses the handle. Fleming can get the pass cleanly on his stick. 4 seconds to go on the 5-on-3. Here's Fleming up top. Fleming over to St. Clair. St. Clair pass down low. Here's Hood. Hood on the goal line. We'll look for an option as Belleville will join the penalty kill, so it's now 5-on-4. Here's Fleming. Morgan Fleming up for Hood. Hood back for Fleming with some space. Fleming will drag and play it down low. There's a pass looking for the cross crease, and that will sing off the iron. Good look in front by Connolly, but he couldn't whack it home. That'll be cleared down the ice. Belleville in the forward check. We're going to get the puck from Hood. The same unit has been out there the entire 2 power plays in a row for the Valley. Here's Hood. As Connolly with them, he'll dish it down low. Peyton Boudreaux there to intercept. Fletcher finds a loose puck. 45 seconds to go on the power play. Here's St. Clair up top, the captain. St. Clair dishes it for Fleming. Back for St. Clair. St. Clair shot through the screen, will go off the stick of Baldwin and wide of the net. There's Hood looking to go towards the slot, but Belleville picks it off and sends it down the ice. Valley will make some changes, so will the Hunters.
Great job by the Hunters here so far in this penalty kill. They only have 20 seconds left. A great PK here for the team in white and black.
We mentioned it in game 1. Hunters had a lot of experience in the penalty kill this season. There's a shot will go off the shin pad of Boudreaux. Hickey looking for the rebound. Here's St. Clair. That will go off a stick and wide. Amos St. Clair was loose in front. Stoddard holds the line as we're back to 5 apiece. Another penalty kill successful for the Hunters. That's going to be rimmed around the wall. Girard couldn't handle it cleanly. Ends up in the corner. Morrison on the forecheck. Girard up for Hines. Still no score here in Cole Harbour. 7.5 to go in the first period. Here's Hines. Jace Hines up for Stoddart. He'll play in the opposite corner. As Romaine will get there first, so he'll turn it over, but quickly poke-checked off of his stick. Here comes Morris. Mason Morris through the center of the ice. Will enter the zone on the near side. Drops it for Urquhart. Here comes Urquhart. Shot off the pad of Newman as he takes away the bottom of the ice with the butterfly. 7 minutes to go. There's a good forecheck from Andrew Urquhart, the rookie, trying to get the puck off of Girard's stick. Cameron Urquhart, his brother, will join the battle down low. 2-on-2 in the corner. There's Urquhart. He'll get taken down behind the goal line. That's going to be played towards the slot, picked off. Here comes the Valley. Hines has it 2-on-2 with St. Clair. Hines gets by Romaine, has it on the goal line. Centering pass just goes through the legs of Jesse St. Clair. That puck will come free. Here's Hines back for St. Clair. St. Clair, nice move through the slot as his shot will go off the glove of Romaine, who has to go right to the benches. That might have jammed up his hand with that block shot. Here's Wilson. He'll play it down low, looking for Banks as Wilson takes a hit from Urquhart. Here come the Hunters. Morris has it, one-on-one. Morris takes it wide. Nice move towards the goal, but couldn't completely finish off that one as Betts just gets enough of him. Here's a chance on the forecheck from Urquhart. Betts able to get by him. St. Clair will flip it through center. Puck is bouncing. Banks will advance it. Banks against Ludi. Played up the wall. Here's Martin. Braden Martin will go cross ice looking for Urquhart. Bounces on the stick of McKnight. He'll go skate to stick on the entry. Drops it off. Here's Urquhart up top for Martin. He'll try to spin a pass. Gets it through. Ludi over to Swift. Swift towards the goal off the pad. Rebounds there, but cleared away to the slot. Ludi finds it. Over to Swift. Swift shot off a skate and wide as Pay got in front of that one. Martin goes up for Ludi. Shot blocked again. This time by St. Clair. As the Valley Wildcats will go for a change as St. Clair will get the puck inside the zone. Here's a chance all alone for Conley. Shot off the shoulder, and that will go out of play.
Couple of marks. Noah Pauk, great start between the pipes for the Hunters tonight. I know we talked about how good O'Shaughnessy was last game, but another quality start here for the Hunters goaltending duo, and yeah, really kind of been the star of the show here so far.
11 shots on Pauk so far. He stopped all of them. Looking nice and calm and cool, collected, and poised in the Hunters' net. Here comes Fleming. Shot will go out the blocker. Almost had the announcer's jinx there, Logan. Puck will bounce its way towards the goal as Connolly couldn't get that one on net cleanly. We're approaching 5 minutes to go here in the first period. Still scoreless here in Cole Harbour Place. TD pass. Here's Hickey. Shotly blocks off the shin pad of McKnight, and that will sail out of play.
You said 5 minutes left. It's crazy how fast this first has gone by. It's just back and forth, and guys are just, like, it literally seems just like 20 minutes. Stop run time almost. It feels like we're going to be done this game here in an hour.
When both teams are competing this hard, the flow, it really makes that pace and the game feel like it goes by super fast. Here comes Hood towards the net as that will not make its way on goal. Hickey looking to hold the line, gets tangled up with Beliveau. Fleming finds it, he'll flick it into the zone. Here's Boudreau. Boudreau over to Liam Worth. Worth having a heck of a playoffs so far for the Hunters. Here comes Cluett. Shot will sail past the glove side and wide. Here's Girard as Cluett finishes his hit on Hickey. Girard will lead the rush for the Valley as his pass will go off a stick of a back-checking Hunter. Girard gets it back. Him and Boudreau collide on the wall. Comes free. Fleming looking to center it for Hood. That will be out of his reach. Worth back to retrieve it. Up for Cluett. Cluett will pass up ahead. Here comes Beliveau. Beliveau towards the net. Shot off the glove of Newman. Just gets enough of that one to keep it out. Good pass, like you mentioned, to get Beliveau for the breakaway. There's Stoddart. Stoddart will look to get by Gibbs, but Gibbs will pin his man on the wall. Good pinch there from the captain. That's going to be played off the wall. Banks will chip it off the boards. St. Clair finds it. There's Amo St. Clair, but Romaine able to defend him. Good job once again by Romaine. He blocked that shot earlier, but he's right back out there for another shift. Stoddart has it, loses it. Here comes Cameron Urquhart. Urquhart Gets his pocket picked. Here's Banks. Zach Banks shot through the screen without the pad. Rebound in the corner. Banks cycles it for Amo St. Clair. As that'll be turned over. Here is Urquhart. Find his own net. Andrew Urquhart looking to find his teammate and brother Cameron Urquhart, but that'll go off a stick of a defender. Here's Romaine. Back over to Gibbs. Gibbs will go cross ice. It's going to deflect up and out of play. And how about Zach Banks, the AP player for the Valley, not looking out of place at all?
No, not at all. He's fit right into this lineup. He's got a couple shots. He's been in on the forecheck heavy, and for a call-up, he doesn't look out of place by any means, at any sorts whatsoever. So good start here for the call-up, number 14, Zach Banks.
We'll see how his ice time is rewarded throughout the rest of this game. He's definitely earned his shifts here in the first. That's going to be rimmed around the wall. Here's Gibbs. Gibbs over to Romaine. Talk about another AP fitting in nicely in the lineup. Here comes Martin. Martin over to McKnight. That's going to be offside by about a country mile.
That one's going to go all the way, I think.
Yeah. Inside 3 minutes to go in the first period here in game 2.
I was wrong. It's not going all the way.
Shots 13-7 for the Valley, still scoreless. Here is Hickey. He'll try to get that puck by Swift. That will bounce its way in the zone. There's Ludi back to retrieve it. Ludi up for McKnight, looking to make the play to the center, as that's going to bounce off the stick of Kalita. Kalita gets it back. He'll fire it over for Swift. That will bounce off of his stick. Comes free on the red line as two bodies fall down. Eventually that'll be dumped in as Polk will leave it behind the net for Ludi. Ludi over to Swift. Swift will rim it up the wall, as that will make its way past Wilson. Hunters will make changes. Here's Wilson on his own goal line. To the middle, finds St. Clair, the captain. Here comes Jesse St. Clair. Takes it wide. St. Clair will play it behind the net as two Hunters come in to sandwich him off the puck. There's a few slashes on the back check from St. Clair. Here's Martin. He'll chip it into the zone. Ludi pinching again. He finds it. Looking to center it. Out got the stick of Newman. Comes free in the slot ball and couldn't handle the exchange. Here comes Fletcher looking to split the D. Fletcher makes a move, but he gets poke checked off the puck by Swift in the back check. Here's Ludi. Ludi gets by Conley. Takes a hit from Girard. Here's Newman behind the net. Newman makes the play over to Betts. Betts will go off the boards. He finds Hood. Hood takes a hit from Cluett along the wall. Comes free for Betts. Betts, nice hesitation move through center. As Hood takes a hit from Boudreaux on the wall as he dumps it in. Pretty physical start. Here's Betts. 1:14 to go in the first. Betts up for Fleming. He'll try and back him one on deep. Comes free for Hood. Hood looking to center towards the goal. Scores! What a pass from Hood. Finished off by Isaac Connolly. Great deflection off the backhand through the legs of Polk. And it's the Wildcats will strike first blood here in Cole Harbour.
Yeah, the puck bounced off the linesman over by the blue line, and it was a fortunate bounce for the Valley Wildcats there, and a great feed from Hood, and a nice little touch on the puck to get it up and elevated over the pad of Polk. Polk's been amazing here in the first. He's seen 14 shots here so far, so a heavy dose of shots in the opening period, and the Hunters are going to see how they respond here in the end of this period and into the second.
That's going to be dumped into the Wildcats corner. Hickey looking to get by Urquhart. Comes straight at the line. Here's Boudreaux's shot will be tipped just wide. Here's Wilson. Wilson up the wall. Cross ice pass finds Connolly. Connolly just scored to open the scoring here in game 2. There's a hit on Connolly on the back check from Urquhart. They get tangled up behind the play. Here's Fletcher all alone. The turnover sails it wide past the blocker's side as Polk has his hands in the air. What are you doing? Here's Hood. Shot will sail over the shoulder. As a late press here from the Wildcats here in the first. Fletcher plays it in deep. Here's Connolly on the goal line. Let's look at his stick lifted by Urquhart. Holds on to possession. There's a one-timer stop off the stick of Polk. Big save there near the buzzers. There's a shot through the screen. Rebound cleared away. 10 seconds to go. Here's Morris. He'll take a hit along the corner. Clear to the line. Kept in for Hickey. Hickey shot. Loved down by Polk, and that's going to do it for the opening 20 minutes. Any last words before we head to break, Logan?
Great start for both teams. They played a solid physical start, both ends of the ice, and it's been a great game. That period flew by, as like we said, back and forth, and yeah, we'll see you at the start of the second period. Logan Crothers here with High Button Sports for your weekend warm-up, the only game on tap for the Wednesday night here in Cole Harbour. It's Game 2 of the Donair Cup as we get set. Valley trying to tie up the series at 1. The Hunters look to put a stranglehold on this one and head down to the Valley to potentially bring back the first ever Donair Cup. Valley took 4 of 5 regular season matchups this year, but they lost Game 1, so look for them to bounce back here and a physical start for them tonight. Players to watch for the Wildcats: Morgan Fleming, 5 points, 3 goals, 2 assists in 4 games. On the other side of the penalty boxes, Justin Clouet, 11 points in 6 games as he's been an absolute engine for the Hunters. As one team looks to take a 2-0 stranglehold on the series and head down to the Valley, the other look to tie it up at 1 and bring it home and see what happens. With High Button Sports, I'm Logan Crothers. Thank you.
This stream is brought to you by Mr. Donair. Bring that classic Donair flavor home in minutes with Mr. Donair's Donair Kit, the original East Coast Donair. Perfect for game night. Want the full setup? Mr. Donair makes its own Donair sauce, Donair dunkers, and Donair sausages. And don't forget the Mr. Donair pizza when you want it simple and fast. You can grab Mr. Donair at Costco, Sobeys, Giant Tiger, Superstore, Gateway, and Needs. Mr. Donair, game night made easy. Now back to the action.
Welcome back to Cole Harbour Place, Scotia 1. You're watching game number 2 of the Mr. Donair Cup Finals. Hunters have a 1-0 series lead after last Wednesday's victory, but they are down by 1 after 20 minutes. Logan, what did you like in that first? What didn't you like?
Well, honestly, there wasn't much not to like. It was a great first period, up and down the sheet, as we mentioned before. I think both teams are really looking to, outwork each other here tonight. It's been good quality chances for both teams, and yeah, I think we're in for a really, really good rest of this series, Mason.
We knew it would be a back and forth series. Potentially, it will go all the way to 5. But we got to get there first. Still, lots of hockey left in this one. Wildcats without Jacob Seaman. But what did you like out of their call-up Zach Banks in that first?
Yeah, I thought he just kept it real simple. He made the right, easy play. He got pucks in deeps, and he got his shots away when he had the opportunity to. So I thought it was a great first, and we'll see how much ice time he earns the rest of this game.
I think we can both agree he does not look out of place here tonight for the Wildcats. As they have the puck, here is Hickey. Cameron Hickey will get the puck back in the corner, looking to move it up the ice. Picked off. Here's Belleville down low for Baldwin. That will go through his legs. Top line out there to start for the Hunters. Here's Swift towards the net. That will not make its way to the cage. Here's Wilson. Up for Amos St. Clair. He finds Justin St. Clair's shot will sail over the net. Hits the glass behind Polk, and that will go on top of the netting and freeze play. 40 seconds in to the second. Mentioned at the top of the show, Jacob Seaman not available. He's playing for the Blainville Boisbriand Armada over in St. John tonight. The Armada play tonight in St. John and tomorrow in Halifax, so Seaman could potentially play in his home province tomorrow night as he's looking to make an impression for the Sea Dogs, or in St. John for the Armada, while all the players on the sheet right here looking to make an impression for the Scouts in attendance. Here's Morris. Nice toe drag move. Morris will cycle it for Urquhart up top. Here is Liam Worth. Worth's shot will got the block. A rebound will hop over the stick of Urquhart. Here's Fleming. Morgan Fleming. Cross-ice pass will hop over the stick of Hood, and that will be ice and call against the Valley. Take a look at the Hunters' top scorers heading in tonight in the playoffs. Justin Cluett had himself a great postseason. 5 goals, 6 assists for 11 points. 3 power play goals, Logan, and 1 shorthanded goal last night. What do you think of his play so far this series?
Yeah, it's been good. He's Charlottetown Islanders draft pick in the Quebec Maritime Junior League, and he's a big kid out there. He doesn't mind throwing the body, and you've seen physicality, and he actually, I think, had the game-winning goal last weekend.
There's Fleming looking to feather through the defenders. Is that going to count? No. Puck crosses the goal line, but obviously a big collision there in the crease of Polk. It all started with that hit at the blue line on Gibbs by Fleming, and there's a few extra words in the crease. Might see a few penalties here, Logan.
Yeah, physicality right off the start of the second period. You start to pick up at the end of the first and carrying over here to the second. And that's what playoffs hockey is all about.
Oh, Gibbs going at the Valley bench there on his way to the penalty box.
Yeah, the music's loud in your ear. He's just trying to listen and hear what they said. Maybe a little closer.
Yeah. He's just asking that bench how many Donairs they can eat in one sitting.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder if they can beat, Brady Martin said he could have 7 in one sitting, so that would be impressive. He's not a very big guy, but 7 Donairs, man, that would be impressive to see.
Now that I think of it, maybe he missed the first game because he had those 7 Donairs and he was too sick to go on the ice.
Yeah, maybe he couldn't get up and down the ice, potentially. That would be a lot on the stomach trying to play a hockey game.
Speaking of hockey game, let's go back to this one. Looks like it's going to be a power play for the Valley. Unsuccessful so far tonight. Let's see what they can pick up here.
No power play, 5-on-5.
Still 5-on-5, yeah, you're right.
I don't think they have assessed any penalties out of that. I think maybe the clock ran or something, but...
So no power play. Maybe they took one out of that scrum.
No, I think they're just having a chat with the Valley coach potentially about the puck, because I think the Valley player thought it crossed the line when the player crashed into the goalie, but you can't really tell at that point. Like, the puck is underneath the goalie. The players are all like it's hard to make a goal call on a play like that where fast-moving game and everyone's going into the net. It's just tough because you don't see the puck cross the line. You don't know where it is. You can't call a goal, right? So
there's no video review in the Mr. Donair Cup yet. There's a chance in front for Hood. Backhand, rebound cleared away through the blue paint. That was a pretty close call for the Valley off the face-off win.
Great job by the centerman, Kalita, going back there and getting that puck out of harm's way.
There's Gerard over to Betts. Shot will go wide. That will bounce off the end wall. Hood in the corner, battling for possession with Boudreau. 2-on-2. Play to the wall. Here's Brady Martin. He'll try and find Ludi as he activated from the point. That's going to be sent off the glass, and that will be another whistle for icing. Bit of a slower pace to start off the second period as compared to the first.
Yeah, a little bit, but chances going the Valleys. They've had a good start here to this game. They played hard in the first. Obviously, they're up to 18 shots here, and we're just starting the second period, so a good start for them, and we'll see how the Hunters want to respond. We'll take a sec here. Polk's just got to adjust his pad, maybe give his team a couple extra seconds to catch their breath, maybe.
I'm just going to say the old, oh, my pad's broken, all of a sudden, trick off the icing call.
Hey, I know as a defenseman, I really appreciated it.
Every inch matters in this series. You got to try and get any advantage you can. There's Ludi up the wall. Stoddart will intercept. Stoddart will work it in deep. Picked off. Here's Kalita. Up for Martin. Martin will go cross ice. Ludi has the puck. Here comes Will Ludi. Nice toe drag move, looking to play it over to Kalita. Puck is bouncing. That'll be steered to the corner. Good back check so far from the Valley in this game, Logan.
Yeah, there hasn't been too many odd man rushes for the Hunters. I liked Ludi's play last week. He played forward last week, actually.
Yep.
Had the game-winning assist, I believe. So he's a pretty dynamic player, being able to play up front and on the back end.
Versatility at its best is Pay trying to work that through. That's going to be picked off by Kalita. He'll send it down the ice, and that will be another icing call against the Hunters as Noah McKnight able to beat it out at the last second. What a display of hustle for number 15 in white. Here's Martin on the goal line, looking to center. It's going to have to stick us Newman, the goaltender. Here's Romaine. Romaine over to Swift. Swift over across for Ludi. Ludi's shot will be blocked. Rebound kept out. Newman able to fight that one off in his crease.
The Hunters, once they get set up in the offensive zone, they've done a great job at spreading the zone out, using their D-man, getting shots to the net. And I think that's a strength for the Hunters, is getting set up in the offensive zone, trying to wear teams down to do a pulp, really, and just try to outwork teams and out physicality, I guess you could say, teams as well.
Valley doing a great job on the back check, preventing the transition plays, but once the Hunters are set up, like you said, they've had some good looks. Here's Baldwin. He can't get that shot off. The Wildcats doing a great job of neutralizing the top line for the Hunters so far. Here comes St. Clair towards the goal. On the backhand, looking to make a play in front for Banks. Couldn't find him. There's a pass to the line for Betts. He'll let that go around the wall. As that will come free. Here's Swift looking to clear. Kept in. Here's Banks. Banks shot into the glove of Polk and no rebound.
Another chance for Banks. We talked about him at the start of the period. He had a good start to the game, and he's carrying it right over here to the second period. And I'm sure if he had that chance back again, he would probably want to shoot it maybe away from the glove side of Noah Polk, who's been really good here to start this one.
Polk making 18 of 19 saves so far. Shots are 19-9 in favor of the Valley, looking to tie up the series here in Game 2. Gibbs can't clear out the face-off win for the Hunters. Fletcher puts it up towards the line. Is another good play there from the call-up Banks. Here's a shot fanned on by Fletcher. Good look in the slot. Banks holds the zone once again. Another impressive play. Here's Worth up for St. Clair. Banks finds it on the wall. Banks will try and cycle it through. As falling down was Urquhart. It's going to be kept in by Betts. Betts avoids a hit from Worth. Here's Banks. He'll play in the opposite corner as Worth finishes his hit on him. Here's Mason Morris. He'll go over to Worth. That will miss him. Bit of a sleepy start for the Hunters here in the second, as St. Clair will fire that one in deep. Here is Liam Worth. Worth has 7 points in the playoffs, so limit off the wall, and that will bounce its way into the Valley zone. Another icing for the Hunters.
Yeah, a really good start for the Valley here. They putting the pressure on the forecheck. The D are activating down the walls to keep pucks in and try to hem in the Hunters. And they've done a great job here on the second, or to start the second period in that aspect. The Hunters got to find a way to respond here before they get another one on the board against them.
One thing that's been working for them is the face-offs, as the Hunters have been pretty good on the dot. They win another one there in the D zone. That's going to be turned over. Fleming drops it at the line, stays on side. Here's Connolly, pulling around the wall, finds Hood. Hood has it, looking to center for Hunt. What a save! Fleming, point blank. Paul with the glove.
Yeah, and you gotta maybe stay away from that glove. It's looking like here tonight. Noah Polk with a big glove save to keep his team only trailing by 1.
Perfect pass from behind the net from Hood to find Fleming, as he kind of hesitated a bit there, didn't shoot it right away. Maybe that gave Polk an extra half second to adjust to make the save. One back, here's Hickey. Hickey will walk his way to the circle. Hickey was in the slot, shot off the pad. Another save from Polk. Here's McKnight off the wall, kept it into the line. There's a shot from distance from Wilson that will not make its way on net. Hood has it in the corner. Up for Hickey up top. Hickey's shot will be, as Fleming let that go on net off the pad, did not redirect it, trying to fool the goaltender. Here's McKnight the other way. McKnight tanked it by Wilson. Good defensive stick. Another good job in transition by the Wildcats, preventing scoring chances. As Ludi back out there on defense for this shift. Here's Swift, back for Ludi. Ludi will put the brakes on. Up the walls, that will take a funny hop off the corner. There's Kalita. Kalita cross ice pass, finds Swift on the opposite boards. Swift enters the zone on the near side, makes a nice move. Here's Swift, couldn't get the shot off. Another good back check from the Wildcats, preventing another scoring chance on the rush. Here's Amos St. Clair the other way, has Pay with him on the 2-on-2. St. Clair hesitates, up for Stoddard, trailer, back for St. Clair, shot, rebound, Pay, gets a few whacks in front, comes free. Here's Stoddard, backhander, kept out once more by Noah Polk. As there's a scrum by the post. I thought I was gonna see the gloves come off there. As Pay has no lid on right now, there goes his bucket.
Yeah, him and Kalita just mixing it up next to the net. The puck was free. Kalita tried to box him out. They both started cross-checking each other, and a good little scrum there. The intensity's starting to pick up here a little bit more in the second period.
I honestly thought that they were going to drop the gloves the way they were going. Referees are discussing the play. Let's see what the call is at center ice.
4 for head contact and a 10-minute misconduct to each guys.
So they'll be sitting for a while. 14 minutes left in the period, so we'll see them in the third. I guess.
If there's not a whistle, I guess, within the last 11 seconds of the period, you won't see them again out here in this one. So it'll take a couple, 14 minutes to sit and think about what they just did.
In your hockey career, Logan, I'm sure you've taken a lot of penalties. Have you ever been in the box for a whole period?
No, normally if there's like that much time left, I'm heading across the ice, heading to the dressing room and sitting in there for the 14 minutes of the period and try to cool myself down and get focused up for the third.
So they took the penalty at 14-11, so just 11 seconds, so that's probably why they didn't go to the dressing room. But
yeah, there is a little bit of buffer. Like, let's say there was 13:30, they're going to the room. But, with that 11-second buffer, you never know. But, I mean, I probably would have went to the room, or the ref would have asked me to go to the room because I still would have been yapping.
That's going to be sent down the ice. St. Clair versus Gibbs for the loose puck. That's going to be an icing. As you can hear, the PA announcer Patrick Lafort called that one out. A lot of icings here in the early going to the second.
Yeah, both teams just kind of hemming each other in zones, and not the cleanest breakouts for either side, really. But like you said, a lot of icings, just trying to get pucks out of the zone and fight to live another day.
There's a shot from Boudreau trying to fool Newman as he keeps that one out. Here's Boudreau again. That shot will be blocked by Betts this time. Here's Cluett, top line back out there for the Hunters. Justin Cluett works it up to the line for Gibbs. Over for Boudreau. Boudreau shot low, blocked by guess who? Zach Banks. What an impact he's had on this game. Here's Girard battling with Baldwin down low. Betts looking to clear from behind his own net. Comes free. Here's Baldwin's shot kept out by Newman. Rebound will be covered up as a broken twig will make its way to the face-off circle. That's Baldwin. Expensive shift from Jack. And in search of a new twig.
We talked about Zach Bangs. He's been doing it now on both ends of the ice, blocking shots. He's had a few good chances, so a great addition tonight for the Valley Wildcats to join arguably their top line.
He's been playing a lot of minutes, and alongside St. Clair, their captain. Puck is dropped. There's Wilson over to Hickey. We've seen Hickey step up a bit too in the absence of Seaman. He's had himself a pretty good game.
Yeah, a nice move last shift. Got a shot away around. He got to move around a couple guys and got a nice shot away in the slot.
Conley has it at the top of the zone. Conley will chip it in deep, looking for Hood. Hood makes his way to the wall, centering pass for Conley. There's another broken stick, one on each side. A couple expensive ships for both sides. As here's Fleming. Fleming looking to center in for Hood. He couldn't get that one on net. There's Ludi. Ludi will pitch it up to neutral ice, and there's a big collision. Now draw a penalty, and watch out here. Right below us here in the booth. As we just praised Hickey for his great play, it looks like he's going to head to the box.
Yeah, the Hunters want 5 for it. We'll wait and see. The man didn't have the puck and he was turned, and we'll see 2 for interference will be the call.
The one part of the ice that we don't have access to right below us, so he didn't catch that hit, but Logan saw it all the way with his eyes and able to describe it.
Yeah, the man was just going. He kind of opened up for the outlet pass, and I think Hickey hit him kind of on that backside of the shoulder and just kind of spun him towards the board, so it might have made it look worse than what it actually was. But now we're going to see a power play for the Hunters, who are 0 for 1 here so far tonight.
Fluid in for the draw against St. Clair, the captain. There's Baldwin up top. Baldwin down low, finds Gibbs in the corner. Schaefer Gibbs makes his way to the half wall. Up top for Swift, across for Baldwin. Baldwin's shot will go wide past the blocker. Kept in. There's Swift. Swift will try and center it, comes free. With a chance short-handed for Stoddard. Stoddard can't break through the defenders. Good back check on the power play for the Hunters. Comes free at the turnover. St. Clair looking to make a move in the slot, but blocked by Baldwin. He'll advance the puck to Bellevaux. Here comes Remy Bellevaux. He'll get the blue line and send it in deep. Newman out to play it. He'll clear it out the zone. Kept in by Gibbs.
Great hand-eye.
Great hand-eye from the captain. As that'll be kept in at the blue line out of midair, as that will be played in deep. Girard able to corral the puck, and this time it will get past the blue line. There's a hit on the opposite blue line, as Stoddard will collect it and send it down the ice. On goal, Polk forced to play it. Hunters will make some changes. Here's Swift. Swift up for Morris, gets a piece of it to negate the icing. Newman plays the puck as Betts looking to one-touch that out of the zone, kept in by Urquhart. There's Cameron Urquhart, can't cycle that one in deep. That was well defended by Fletcher. He'll take over. Here comes Fletcher, played over to St. Clair. St. Clair's shot will go wide. Rebound will go off the side of the net as Polk uses his skate blade to get back to that post and knocks it off. That will stop play.
A great kill by the Valley Wildcats here to start this. They've killed almost a minute and 20 seconds off. Now they're going to have an offensive zone draw. They have had a couple chances actually shorthanded. So we saw a shorthanded goal for the Hunters last game. We'll see if the Valley can respond with one here tonight.
St. Clair will remain out there with Fletcher, Girard, and Wilson on the blue line for the Valley. It's going to be one back for Worth. Worth out there with Ludi, the Urquharts, and Morris for the second unit for the Hunters. Nice move by Ludi to escape his own zone. Here comes Will Ludi, drops it off on the entry for Andrew Urquhart. He'll spin off a check on the wall. Urquhart down low, looking to cycle it. This battle for the loose puck between Cameron Urquhart and Girard. Morris looking to dig it free, and he does. Here's Mason Morris down low, plays at the corner for Ludi. Up top for Worth, who just holds it in. Worth, shot towards the goal, blocked in front, rebound in the slot. Morris looking to dig it free, plays it to Ludi, as that's going to do it for the power play. Back to 5 apiece. No power play goals yet in this game, as there's a hit on Morris down low. That's going to be cleared past the blue line. Worth on his in the neutral ice will dump it back in deep. There's Wilson approaching the halfway mark of the second, which is also the halfway mark of regulation. There's a turnover. Morris has it. Morris down low, finds Urquhart. Urquhart looking to play it up top for Worth. That'll bounce over his stick. Here comes St. Clair to Fleming. Morgan Fleming gets by Morris, still has the puck. Fleming shot, glove down by Polk. Great burst of speed and a nice move from Morgan Fleming and a nice job to change the angle on that shot, but did not fool Polk on that one.
No, we talked about the hot glove of Polk. He had a couple big glove saves already, and there you can add on to the highlight reel for number 1.
Face-off will be inside the Hunters zone. 10:04 to go in the second. Still 1-0 for the Valley. A low-scoring game as compared to the first game last week. Here's Martin. Braden Martin, as we are now past the halfway mark of the period, finds Swift. Swift will flick it towards the center of the ice as Liam McKnight will take over. McKnight takes a hit from Fleming on the back check as Newman collects the dump in. He finds Hickey, his defenseman, up for Fleming. Fleming, nice escape move off the wall. It's tough to break out off the wall for the winger. Here's a shot going in the glove once again by Polk. And that will take us to the halfway mark and into our TV timeout. There's a few shoves before we do so. Watch out as Hickey and Martin want a piece of each other. And not just a piece, they want the whole thing, Logan.
Yeah, they don't want a piece, they want the whole pie.
Another bucket as Martin's still yapping with Hickey.
Kalita in the corner.
So we'll use this timeout to cool things down here in Scotia 1. Looks like we'll assess a few penalties. We'll figure those out after the break here. You're watching the Mr. Donair Cup Finals. Game number 2, we'll be back after the break.
This stream is brought to you by Mr. Donair. Bring that classic Donair flavor home in minutes with Mr. Donair's Donair Kit, the original East Coast Donair. Perfect for game night. Want the full setup? Mr. Donair makes its own Donair sauce, Donair dunkers, and Donair sausages. And don't forget the Mr. Donair pizza when you want it simple and fast. You can grab Mr. Donair at Costco, Sobeys, Giant Tiger, Superstore, Gateway, and Needs. Mr. Donair, game night made easy. Now, back to the action.
Welcome back inside Scotia 1. We're trying to figure out what just happened in that Donnybrook. Any signals from the referee yet, Logan?
No, there hasn't been anything. They're pulling Romaine into the box for the Hunters, so it looks like it's going to be a Valley power play here to start the back half of the second period.
Both captains discussing with the officials at center ice, trying to figure out what the scenario will be here to kick off the back half of this game.
Yeah, they just got a warning to each bench. Anything after the whistle, if it's like kind of, you know, I guess, yeah, they're not going to put up with it. They're just going to start throwing people out of the game. So the teams are got a warning each. They got to be careful here for the rest of this. They don't want to lose a game next game in a meaningful one. Could be game 3, could be elimination and for the Donair Cup, or it could be to see who moves up and gets the stranglehold on the series.
Intensity ramping up here. There's Betts up top, so it will be a Valley power play as Hood works it down low. Here's Connolly, pass towards the slot, looking for Wilson in the bumper. That's going to be intercepted. Here comes Gibbs shorthanded. Schaefer Gibbs will let a shot go off the rush, and that will sail high and wide. Hood has it. Hood advances it for Fleming, looking to get the bounce. Picked off by Gibbs once again. Here comes Schaefer Gibbs, shorthanded. Gibbs will drag and shoot one low. Stop made by Newman, and there's a hard net try from the captain, who just warned his bench not to do anything stupid after the whistle. Kind of ironic.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's so hard. The puck was there for a sec, so I get where you go in to talk to the goalie there now. You see him there. He was just going for the puck, and you know, we talked about it last week. He's a hard, aggressive player, but he's not dirty. He plays within the rules. He just plays very hard, very aggressive, and you saw there the active sportsmanship from the captain of the Hunters, Schaefer Gibbs.
And if you think about it, Logan, this is the Hunters' last home game. So this is the last chance for Schaefer Gibbs as a third-year player to play in front of his home crowd. He's played 3 years here for the Cole Harbour organization. They used to be the Wolfpack in his first year. Now they're the Hunters. So definitely a lot of emotions for the third-year players playing in their final home game. Here's Ludi. As that will be played to the wall, comes free. Baldwin finds it again. Backhand shot will be stopped by Newman. A couple of shorthanded chances for the Hunters as they've scored last week, shorthanded, and they almost had one again there. Here's Betts. 8.5 to go in the second. 1 minute to go in the power play. Here is Nate Betts, puts the brakes on as he enters the zone. That'll be dumped in deep. Boudreau will find the puck, looking to clear. Kept in by Morgan Fleming. Fleming at the top of the zone, fakes the pass, holds on to it. Fleming still has the puck. Over to Betts. He finds Hood. Hood down low for Connolly. Connolly looking to center it for Fleming. That will be intercepted by Ludi.
2-on-1.
Here comes a chance, shorthanded for Ludi. Ludi will streak towards the goal. Backhand just goes wide. It's been all Hunters here on this Wildcats power play. 30 seconds to go. This Valley power play is starting to look a little predictable, in my opinion, Logan.
Yeah, they switched it up at the start, but they seem to go back to that umbrella type thing. They started off in a box +1, and they moved back to the umbrella, and since then they haven't been getting the looks they were in the first period on the power play.
They're getting that puck down low to Connolly on the goal line. You can kind of tell he wants to make that play at the center. Pretty easy to pick off for the defenders, as Ludi will tie up his man on the wall, and that's going to do it for the power play. So both teams 0-4 tonight on the man advantage. That was a well killed off penalty by the Hunters once again. Here's Fletcher looking to move it ahead for Banks. That's going to be chipped off the glass and in deep. Boudreau back to retrieve it in his own zone. Boudreau advances the puck, but kept in by Girard. Girard will backhand towards the slot. That's going to come free for Morris. Here comes Mason Morris for the Hunters. Plays it over to Urquhart. Andrew Urquhart's shot will be stopped by Newman, and corrals the rebound as well. Hunters catching up in the shot category. They were down by over 10. Now it's just about 9 shot differential, 23-14.
Yeah, and we talk about Noah Polk in one end. Well, how about down the other end in Maddox? Newman, he's out. He stops the puck behind the net, you know, a lot of the time. And I know scouts love to see a good puck-moving goaltender. He's a big goaltender as well, so I'm sure he's got some eyes on him as well here tonight.
There's Swift. Cross-ice pass finds Gibbs. Gibbs will work it down low, back up top. Swift over to the opposite corner for Urquhart. There's Andrew Urquhart at the top of the circle. Will let a shot go. It's going to be blocked by Morris in front unintentionally. Swift has it. That will be played across the crease and end up to the blue line. Gibbs finds it, works it back down low off the shin pad of Morris, who was trying to corral it. Here's Urquhart, as Banks will find the puck in his own zone. Feeds it over to Girard. Girard will chip it down towards the Hunters' end as Dial will go for a change. Here's Gibbs through the middle, finds Morris. Nice play from Gibbs to start the rush. Morris will work it into the corner, takes a shove from Hickey. That will be played down low for Girard. Girard looking to get by the forecheck as the Urquhart's caught the turnover. That will immediately be played back on the Valley stick. Here's Girard up for Amos St. Clair. St. Clair will take it wide as he gets poked off the puck by Ludi on the back check. There is a collision behind the net. Comes free for Swift. Swift will flick it through the middle of the ice as that will just get by the blue line. Here's Morris. Morris 2-on-1 with Urquhart. Morris makes the move, but he can feed the teammate back door. That was Urquhart. Chance the other way. Here's Hines. Hines drops it off the line for St. Clair. Shot will go off the pad. Rebound cleared away. Big collision between St. Clair and Romaine after the shot. There's McKnight the other way. Liam McKnight, 3-on-2 for the Hunters. Up for Urquhart. That will bounce off of his skate into the corner. 5.5 to go in the second. The pace picking up again here in the late stages of this period. Here's Hines. Shot will go off a skate and that will go out of play.
I think I've seen Will Ludi play 3 shifts of forward, 4 shifts of D in this game alone. He's been back and forth, switching back up between the front and the back, and he's done a great job both ends. You saw a good stick here, and then you saw him on the kill. He was playing forward, and he had almost a breakaway chance. So who knows what position he is playing out there, but whatever it is, it seems to be working.
You got to wonder when he's going back to the bench. He's like, Coach, am I playing forward or D this shift? What's the plan?
You just go in the middle when you hear your name, you go.
Getting lots of minutes though on both sides, and I'm pretty sure I saw him walk in with a pair of pads on his shoulder, so he might play goalie in the third. But I wouldn't change things up yet. Polk's having a heck of a game.
Yeah, and Martin is actually trying to get his stick back from the Valley bench, which, if I know hockey players, that stick's no longer in one piece. I'll never forget one of my second year's junior. One of the guys got in a fight or whatever, and the stick ended up on our bench. And I looked over, and the goaltender had taken the stick down the tunnel, and it was in 4 separate pieces. And the ref came over, was like, "We're looking for a stick." We're like, "Yeah, you're not gonna find one over here."
Classic junior hockey. Here's Girard as that's going to work down low. Gibbs can clear. Here's Fleming looking to wrap it through as Polk just keeps it out on the goal line. Close call there. Polk's pad was in the net. That might have crossed the goal line, but there was no way to tell from the angle the referee had on the opposite side of the net.
Yeah, no, it was a backhand wraparound, and those are hard to read because the goaltender's trying to get to that post, but the puck is hard to tuck it right into that post, and his pad was just in behind. But I think the refs are going to have a quick chat about where the faceoff's going to go, and we'll see if it looks like it's going to come outside of the zone. I think, I don't know, Gibbs is lining up like he wants it outside of the zone. And it will come outside. So they're saying the Valley player knocked it off, the post off its bearings. That's why the puck is coming outside of the zone for the face-off.
You talked about players having eyes on them. The referees are getting evaluated every game too, so you know they want to make the right call in every instance.
Yeah, and they're getting evaluated, like you said, to try to get an opportunity to, maybe ref the U18 finals or even higher, junior or something along those lines.
You got to earn your ice time even as an official. There's a penalty on the play. Just as we mentioned, the refereeing, they have a chance to make a call, and they will do so. Cross-checking is a signal. So back to the power play for the Hunters. Had some good looks in their first attempt, but unable to find the back of the net. Let's see what they can do here. Looks like it'll be Girard to the box.
Yeah, and the number one unit that they like to go with for the Hunters is out to start. Clouet in on the draw. He has been a juggernaut for them this playoffs.
He's one of those physical players where I'm not going to say coast through the regular season, but he's looking forward to games that matter a bit more. And he seemed to have a much better playoffs after a pretty good regular season. He's a huge draft pick. Could have expected a bit more from him, but here's a one-timer. Scores!
Running through the bumper, Schaefer Gibbs.
The captain has the equalizer. Power play goal for the Hunters. And we're all square here in Scotia 1.
Clouet's going to pick up another point on that. It was a good speed. Dawson Swift is also going to pick up a point on that play. So a couple of the top point getters here in the postseason for the Hunters, again, being a factor here to tie this up at 1-1.
That will be Clouet's 12th point of the postseason, and Dawson Swift up to 10. So they're having a great run here to end off the year. There's a hit at center ice. Worth on St. Clair. Here come the Hunters. Urquhart looking for a trailer. Finds Swift. Shot will sail off the glass, and the Hunters have a bit of pep in their step now. Here's Urquhart. Andrew Urquhart at the top of the zone will feather it towards the goal. Rebound is there. The
still loose.
It's still loose, but eventually it'll be covered up. Big stop from Newman looking to keep the Hunters from getting back-to-back goals. Weather the storm, I guess you could say.
Ludi up front now this shift.
So, as we mentioned before, you never know where you're going to find number 9.
Yeah, and net front. So he goes and plays defense, makes a great defensive play, and then almost, I guess you could say, gets rewarded for it. He almost banged that in home in front, so a good game, back-to-back good games. He had a really good game last game, too, so back-to-back games here for number 9 coming to play in the postseason.
Chance other way as Worth will collect it in front of his own goal. Liam Worth will take a hit on the forecheck from St. Clair. Here's Tynes. Up for Stoddart. Stoddart will get poked off the puck. Here comes Swift. Swift loses it. Stoddart will take over. Drops it off for Hines. Shot will go off the side of the net. Puck will bounce its way towards the crease as Hines looking for the loose puck as Morris collects it. Kept into the line by Girard, who's out of the penalty box after taking one that caused the tying goal. Here's Urquhart. Up for Ludi. Will Ludi will lead the charge for the Marchand Milko Hunters. Ludi through the middle will let a shot go. Scores! Wow. Talk about a complete game for number 9. Will Looney, the water bug out there all over the ice, has just scored to tie this game, or take the lead rather. It's 2-1.
So he is my neighbor, so I hear him a lot of nights, and that ting, ting, ting off the post, off the crossbar, and you get to see a display of his shot. He walked to the middle of the ice, taking the ice that's given to him, and just ripped it home past the blocker.
Valley had all the momentum at the start of the period, and all of a sudden, 2 quick ones for the Hunters. They have taken over the lead here at home. There's Fleming who gets taken down, no call. Wilson will play it in deep, doesn't go off the body. That will stop play. Morris gets the assist.
Yeah, and I really liked Morris's game this game as well. He's been up and down the sheet. He's taken a couple hits to make plays. He does a really good job when he enters the zone at waiting for those trailers to catch up to him. He delays, and he doesn't turn the puck over. If he doesn't see an option coming late, all right, I'll put it in deep. I'll get it, make sure it's not going back the other way while his team's coming up ice.
No panic in his game. It's all about pace, this game of hockey, and he seems to have it down as Connolly will work it down low, finds Wilson. Inside 3 minutes to go here in the second. It's 2-1 for the Hunters, back-to-back quick ones to take the lead. There's Betts looking to respond for the Valley. He'll chip into the zone. Boudreau against Betts for the loose puck. Comes free, here's Connolly. Connolly up top for Fleming. Morgan Fleming over for Wilson. Shot will go off a stick, looking for the redirection in front. There is Braden Martin. He'll get poked off the puck without making its way inside the Valley zone. Off the deflection as Newman comes out to play the puck very nonchalantly. There's a hit behind the net, comes free. Here's a centering pass by Urquhart. Nobody could find that puck in front for the Hunters. There's Betts. Betts finds Connolly. He'll drag it back and hit his own zone. Connolly has it in the center of the ice. So with a shot goal, that will be stopped by Polk, and he'll decide to cover things up with 2:04 to go in the second.
A great response here by the Hunters in the back half of this period. A little bit of a slow start for them to start this second period off. But they weathered the storm. You know the Valley was going to come out playing hard after a loss last week. So, yeah, they've done a great job here weathering the storm and getting on the board here twice in the second period to give them their lead.
It's going to be one back. Here's Fletcher's shot stopped by Polk on the whistle. Logan, those 2 scrums that kind of happened in the middle of the period, do you think that kind of changed the momentum of the game for the Hunters' favor?
Well, yeah, maybe just getting some edge on the bench, realizing, you know, your players got your back. Just go out and play hockey. It's always good and reassuring to know that, you know, you're going to have a guy out there or guys out there that are going to stand up for you if anything happens. Or, you know, if they're going to stand up for themselves like that, I'm sure they'll stand up for you like that. So, you know, a little bit of insurance to just kind of play a little bit, you know, maybe looser, but also, you know, what it takes to win a playoff game. It's going to be a little bit, it's going to be grindy. It's going to be tough.
That's going to be worked in the Valley zone. 1:45 remaining in the second. That will make its way down the ice, and that will be no icing. St. Clair beats it out. Here's Jesse St. Clair as Swift loses his stick trying to defend him. As that will be poked out of the zone by Claude, having a great second period as number 17. Romaine finds it on his own goal line. Romaine will try and clear. Kept in. Here's St. Clair. Nice move. St. Clair towards the goal. Try and feed it in front for Fletcher through the legs. That would have been a dandy of a goal. St. Clair can't get by Baldwin. 1:15 to go in the second. Here comes Jack Baldwin. Baldwin, nice move to get by the forecheck. Very risky one, but it paid off there. Baldwin still has it. Looking to go coast to coast. Shot will go off the stick of Hickey. Ends up behind the net. Here's Cluett. Looking to work it out front as Beliveau can get there. St. Clair will take over. Final 60 seconds of the second. Here comes Amos St. Clair. 1-on-2. Will dump it into the zone. Here's Baldwin. Baldwin over to Worth. Worth up ahead. Finds Beliveau. Remy Beliveau gets the red line and will fire that around the boards. Swift will get there first on the opposite side. He'll try and play it back in deep. It gets tangled up. Wilson finds a loose puck behind his own net. 30 seconds to go in the frame. Here's Betts. Fakes the pass, holds onto it. Eventually will play it over to Fleming. That will miss his stick, and that will be icing. Betts thought that had his stick on the way down, but that was not the call from the linesman.
Quick note, I noticed as well, we talked about how the Hunters have gotten better throughout the period. Their breakouts A little bit disconnected at the start. They're supporting the puck now here a little bit better the back half of this second, and it showed definitely well on the scoreboard for sure.
You ought to think back to all those big saves Polk made to keep this game at bay. Hunters have kind of found their game a bit here in the late stage of the second period. There's a chance on goal. Newman
Still loose
with the pad, and that will be cleared away from the crease. 10 seconds to go. Here's Betts. Betts finds Fleming. Morgan Fleming with 3 seconds, got to make a move here. Here's a shot into the glove. Rebound at the buzzer. That's going to count.
Wow.
A buzzer beater. Looks like that's going to be Hunter Hood's goal. Referee was right there to make the call, and I agree with him. That one went in before the buzzer. Looks like they'll probably have to drop the puck if that went in before the buzzer, no?
Well, I would think so. If the puck went in before the whistle, there's still time left on the clock.
They'll need one more face-off. I guess not.
I guess we're just going to head to the third period tied at 2, maybe? I don't know.
Let's see what the call is here. We'll stay on the air while we figure this out before the end of the period. They called it a goal. So you'd think there'd be time left on the clock if it was a goal. So here's the confirmation right there. So it will be 2-2 heading into the third. We have a wild ride in store for the final 20 minutes. Let's take a quick break up here in the booth. You're watching the High Button Sports production of the Mr. Donair Cup Finals. Game 2, not at 2s. After 2, we'll see you in the third period.
This stream is brought to you by Mr. Donair. Bring that classic Donair flavor home in minutes with Mr. Donair's Donair Kit, the original East Coast Donair. Perfect for game night. Want the full setup? Mr. Donair makes its own Donair sauce, Donair dunkers, and Donair sausages. And don't forget the Mr. Donair pizza when you want it simple and fast. You can grab Mr. Donair at Costco, Sobeys, Giant Tiger, Superstore, Gateway, and Needs. Mr. Donair, game night made easy. Now, back to the action. This stream is brought to you by Mr. Donair. Bring that classic Donair flavor home in minutes with Mr. Donair's Donair Kit, the original East Coast Donair. Perfect for game night. Want the full setup? Mr. Donair makes its own Donair sauce, Donair dunkers, and Donair sausages. And don't forget the Mr. Donair pizza when you want it simple and fast. You can grab Mr. Donair at Costco, Sobeys, Giant Tiger, Superstore, Gateway, and Needs. Mr. Donair, game night made easy. Now, back to the action.
Welcome back, folks. Big third period in store here in game number 2 of this best of 5 series. It's the Mr. Donair Cup Finals. It's first ever year. What a third period we have in store, Logan. But first, let's talk about the first two. What did you see in those first 40 minutes that you liked and maybe you didn't like as well?
Yeah, well, 2 late goals in each period by the Hunters. They cannot let that happen in the third period. No matter what the score is, they got to try to keep the Valley away from their net around the end of the period. Other than that, both these teams have had their chances, have had their opportunities. They've played hard at both ends of the ice. It's been a great game so far, and I guarantee you this is going to be an even better third period.
Both top lines will start the third. The hood line for the Valley connected for both goals. As they're out there to start, his Fleming's shot will just go past the blocker's side, and here we go. Buckle up. We got a fast-paced third to start things off in game number 2. Here's Swift as they announce the buzzer-beating goal that ended the period with less than a second to go. Hood made this a 2-2 game. Here's Beliveau, drops it off. Cluett shot, scores! Hunters get it right back. Justin Cluett, 30 seconds in to the third period.
Yeah, and what a shot. We saw it last week for the game-winning shorthanded goal by Justin Cluett. And you saw it again there, that Quebec Maritime League type shot, quick wrister. A great draw pass, though, by the man to set that up. I think that was Morris, I believe, that dropped that puck.
I think it might have been Beliveau.
Whoever it was a beautiful pass. And an even better shot, an even better finish, and a great start here for the Hunters in the third.
So, goals coming technically 30 seconds apart, but a whole intermission separated them. Hunters score just half a minute into the third period as Cluett gets his 6th goal of the postseason, 2nd point tonight, 13 overall in the playoffs. Baldwin gets the assist, and so does Remy Beliveau, who I believe made that drop pass, and that will be an icing call.
And that's one way to answer after giving up a late goal in the second to make it a tied game. Coming out and a early response for them. Now they got to shut it down here for the rest of the third. And like I said last week, I said they got to defend first. Well, they came out in the third period with the lead and just took it to the Valley. So we'll see if they stick with that game plan of go, or are they going to go maybe a 1-2-2 and try to trap them at the neutral zone and keep everything down the Valley end.
We'll see how this progresses. Referees are having a discussion at center ice. They will drop the puck right in the middle. So if you're just tuning in for the third, Hunters scored 30 seconds in. Justin Cluett, 6 goals in the postseason. His latest one has just given the Hunters the lead back here in game number 2. Hunters had the series lead, and a win here could definitely give them a upper hand heading over to Berwick for the final 3. Here's Urquhart. Andrew Urquhart behind them, looking to center it. That will just miss the stick of Ludi, who scored in the second period. He's played both sides of the ice, defense and forward, all evening long as he gets tangled up with Hickey. Puck comes free. Here comes Amo St. Clair. He'll chip it in the zone. Gibbs able to find it. Morris collects it and will play it off the boards. Here's Hickey over to Girard. These two have seen lots of minutes for the Wildcats blue line tonight in absence of Seaman. Here is Girard. That'll be gloved down by Paulko. Nonchalantly throw that to Worth. Worth will flick it up and high. Urquhart can't corral it. As Pay out of the box, he served that 14-minute penalty. As Gibbs will finish his hit on Stoddart. As him and Kalita back out there. Pay and Kalita, they got into that skirmish. 14 minutes left in the second period. They served their 14 minutes. They're back out there to finish off this game. Here's Martin. Braden Martin will play it back to Gibbs. Sent over for Swift. Here's Dawson Swift who'll advance it up the ice. Here comes Cameron Urquhart. Urquhart will shoot one, looking to catch the Wildcats goaltender by surprise. That's Newman, but that will sail over the net. Here's Braden Martin. Martin will collect some speed in the neutral zone. Enters through the middle. Here comes Martin all the way. Backhander. Might have gotten his stick lifted right before he took the shot, as Betts will move the puck the other way. Betts will fire it off the skate of Hines, gets it right back. Betts' shot will go off the body of Urquhart, and that will go into the netting and out of play.
Good job there by the Hunters. They get the lead. Now they're making sure they got a good F3, making sure they have a high guys. They have 3 guys back at all times. I think that's smart for the Hunters, but you see them, they get a scoring chance right before that. So they're not sitting back per se, but they're not pushing the pace maybe a little bit too much, and could create turnovers where they, don't need to create turnovers.
They're keeping this an exciting game. They're playing a bit conservative, but they're not going full neutral zone trap mode. That will make its way to the boards in front of the Wildcats bench. Wilson sends it over to Hickey. Fleming finds it. He'll take a hit from Cluett. Both top lines right back out there. Here's Hood. Up for Connolly. Connolly will escape the puck across the ice. Met there by the stick of Swift at the blue line. Chance for Beliveau as he'll try to center it, but Fleming gets back to disrupt that. Here comes Hood the other way. Hood will drop it off of the blue line. Comes free from Fleming, and there's a hit on the entry. Boudreau gets the worst of that one. Morgan Fleming flexing his muscles with the reverse hit. Here's Baldwin the other way. His shot will be blocked. Connolly finds it in the corner in his own zone. Connolly up for Hood. Hood can't get by Baldwin. Comes free for Connolly again. Connolly, as Baldwin turns it over. Here comes Jack Baldwin with numbers. Shot will go off the stick into the corner. Morris finds the rebound. Morris will take a hit as he dumps it back in. Here's Connolly again for the Valley Wildcats. He'll go skate to stick in center of the ice. He'll flick it into the zone. Ludi looks like he's playing defense this shift. No, Gibbs and Boudreau out there, so he's back on forward. Here's St. Clair off the turnover. Move at the blue line. Plays it towards the wall. Jesse St. Clair looking to tie the game for the Valley. Has the puck up top. Betts collects it. Betts will fake the shot and work it over to Girard. He'll play it towards the net. Tipped on goal. Polk makes the save, and that will stop play.
Yeah, that was a massive hit. Massive hit. And you said Boudreau took the worst of it. Yeah, he fell, but I promise you that Fleming is going to feel that hit.
Absolutely.
And yeah, Boudreau did fall, but Fleming, I saw him going to the bench, and you could tell he was either trying to catch his breath or just, he felt it for sure. So we'll see if that physicality, maybe might spark something here in the third.
There's a pass to the slot. Banks looking to work it through. That's going to be poked up by Polk. Chance the other way. Hunters have numbers. 3-on-2. Here's Martin. Takes the pass. Martin fumbles it on the entry, as that'll be worked in deep. Here's Girard from behind his own net. He'll go off the wall. Banks plays it back in the corner. As Girard will take a spill. Here's Jesse St. Clair. As Swift finds it. Played back in deep. That will go off a stick, and that will go back into the netting. We're 5 minutes into the third period. Hunters scored 30 seconds into the frame to take the lead. And they're still pressing here. As you mentioned, they are not falling back. They're still trying to score goals to extend this lead.
Yeah, and it's coming kind of from their back end. Their back end's doing a great job at shutting down the neutral zone, and the entries for the Valley, they haven't really got anything off the entry. And that's good thanks to number 5, Dawson Swift. He's having another heck of a game out there tonight.
He is having a great game. The Hunters' top line as well is producing. They're right back out there. Already 3 shifts, 5 minutes into this third period, as Pay will take it over. There's Darius Pay's shot will go off the stick of Swift, and there you go. Dawson Swift on both sides of the ice. As there's an extra whistle after a few shoves between Liam Worth and Darius Pay. Pay already has 14 minutes served in the penalty box tonight, looking for more.
Yeah, he plays a physical, hard game, just like Gibbs too, right? So, he wasn't in the lineup in the first game. He gets back in here. He's been a physical presence, obviously taking 14 minutes in penalties, but he's been a physical presence and noticeable out there for the Wildcats.
There's Hickey at the face-off win for the Valley. They're looking to tie this game as we are 5.5 minutes into the third period. They don't want to go down 0-2. Here's a shot from Stoddard that's going to be kept out by Polk. There's Pay once again mixing it up in front of the blue paint.
Yeah, not doing anything crazy, just stopping, hanging around, seeing if anyone wants to say hi, and you know how it is in front of the net.
Sure do. Both sides will make changes. Top line back out there for the Valley inside the O-zone. Wilson and Hickey on the blue line. Ludi will take the face-off, wins it ahead. Here comes Urquhart with Morris. Urquhart through the middle of the ice, enters the zone. Shot will go off the glass behind the net. Here's Urquhart. Play to the line is Worth able to just hold it in. He'll get a shot off, and that will go into the glove of Newman.
Good job there by Worth to stick with it, not get too excited. That was a close play at the point. He got it. There was a stick there on him, but a great job by the defenseman to get that shot on, and not a breakaway, I guess, back the other way.
We talked about how Worth's game in the playoffs has definitely soared in terms of points, at least. He's definitely had more confidence out there here in the postseason after a full regular season in his belt, as Wilson nearly loses the puck, and now it comes free. Here's Ludi behind the net. Ludi looking to center it as Urquhart couldn't accept the pass. Here comes Connolly the other way. Picked off by Ludi on the back check. What else can you say about Will Ludi in this game? He's been all over the ice. As he'll take the puck down the right side. Ludi looking to make a play towards the middle. That's going to go off a stick and up in the air. Comes free down low. Morris on the goal line looking to spin it towards the goal. And there it is! Will Ludi double dips.
That time it wasn't off the shot. That's some soft hands by the big number 9 right there.
Have yourself a game, number 9. Will Ludi, a pair of goals, and the Hunters extend their lead to 2.
Yeah, and I really like this line that they've put together here. Late in the period, they were on for the goal against. They come out here and they score in the third period. Hey coach, don't worry, we got our back. We let one in late. All right, we'll get one back for our team, and they do that once again. Their second goal as a line here in this game.
Bending but not breaking. They gave up that super late one in the second, but they came right back, as you mentioned, and got themselves back on the board. And that's 3 goals in the postseason for Ludi, 2 this evening. And St. Clair had a good look in front of the net. That'll bounce over his stick. Kept in. Here's Betts into the glove of Polk, and he'll freeze play.
That goal started on the face-off. We talked about earlier how good the Hunters have been off face-offs. Ludi tied the man up on the face-off. Urquhart and Morris moved the puck up ice. A nice zone entry, switching on the defenseman, creating some confusion. And then that kind of really started the whole play, as well as a good back check, too. So a good shift there by that line, and look to continue that for the rest of this game and just really play solid, simple hockey here to finish up this game for the Hunters.
Valley has in the O-zone, play to the line. Here's Girard, he'll make his way to the middle and shoot one that's going to be tipped up and high. Good job from Girard there to walk that blue line. Made an easier shooting lane at the middle of the ice, and that one will be deflected up and out of play. This is where the absence of Seaman really comes into effect. Third period, they're down a couple goals. They could use a offensive spark from the blue line, and Seaman unavailable tonight. He's playing up in the queue. They can definitely use him here.
Absolutely, Mason. The Quebec major level talent doesn't grow on trees, especially a big right-handed shot.
There's a hook on Girard. That's going to draw a penalty against Cluett. And a good look here, Logan, for the Wildcats to get going on the power play. They surely could use one here, down by 2 with 12.5 to go in the third.
Yeah, they're 0 for 3 on the power play here tonight. Let's see if they can find a way to generate some chances, and we'll see if they have a different look, maybe a couple different players here for this one.
They'll send out Connolly, Hood, Fleming, Pay, and Betts. So a similar look that the Valley has sent out there previously tonight has not been able to capitalize yet. Baldwin and Belleville out there to kill us off with Swift and Boudreau. Here's Betts. Shot through the screen will be tipped wide of the net. Here's Connolly. Connolly up top for Fleming. Morgan Fleming has the puck. Up for Betts, back for Fleming, over for Hood. Hood shot off the crossbar, rebound, put in. Darius Pay on the doorstep. And it's a 1-goal game once more. Power play goal. They finally are able to capitalize on the man advantage. Number 86 in red bangs home the rebound. And the lead is cut to 1.
Yeah, Mason, as well as anyone being a goaltender, you put pucks on net with traffic there. It's hard to make the save and let alone find the rebound. when guys are trying to bang whatever they can see home. So a great job there by the Valley Wildcats, keeping it simple, saying, okay, trying to feed it through seams hasn't worked. All right, let's try getting pucks to the net and crashing down, and that's how they get their first power play goal of the game.
A potential season-saving goal there, as they have cut this lead to 1 here in the third. They don't want to go down 0-2 in the series in this best of 5. That's going to be an icing call.
Urquhart's going to question that one. He thought he got there first. I thought he had the inside step on the D-man, but I guess not.
Fleming line will stay out there after the power play goal. It only took them 20 seconds, so they still got plenty of juice left. And you know they're going to lean on this line to try and tie the game here in the third period. There is a chance to clear for the Hunters. That'll be sent down the ice by Worth. Here's Conley, up for Hood, back for Conley. Here come the Valley with numbers. Conley has it. Connolly will make his way to the slot as they'll get nudged off the puck and back check for the Hunters. There's Gibbs with the physicality in the corner. Takes down Conley with the body check. Fleming finds the turnover and will play in the opposite corner. Worth against Hood. Hood gets the inside. Turns the puck over, looking and playing in front. Here comes Fleming. Shot! Oh my! Morgan Fleming upstairs in the backhand, and we are tied once again. That was silky from number 72. What a saucy finish from Morgan Fleming.
Yeah, and Fleming parked alone in front, had some time and space, and the crafty rookie with a little bit of a chip shot with a 60-degree up over Noah Polk and in the back of the net. But I think the Valley Wildcats are going to head into the penalty box. I think Hood got a penalty there for unsportsmanlike. He took the stick of number 10, Andrew Urquhart, out of his hands after the goal, and the referee was right there to see it. So a power play after the Valley just scored 2 back-to-back to tie it up. They're going to take a penalty here to put them short-handed.
What a third period, Logan.
What a third period is right, Mason.
Everything you can ask for in a hockey game. Goals, controversy, dramatics. As that's going to be cleared down the ice. So all of a sudden it's a Hunters power play. They've just blown a 2-goal lead. As here is Swift. Chance for the Hunters to regain the lead. Here comes Cluett. Cluett drops it off for Baldwin. Baldwin up top for Swift. Swift over for Gibbs on the goal line. Gibbs passes across. Cluett just fanned on it. Beautiful looking tight to try and regain the lead, but will play on at 4-4. Here's Baldwin up top. Shot blocked. Wide open action here in the third period. Here's Gibbs down low on the power play. Schaefer Gibbs, play to the half wall. He finds Cluett. Cluett over for Baldwin. Baldwin back up top. Here's Swift, fakes the shot, sends it over for Cluett. Shot blocked in front. Rebound, kept out. No chance. Cleared away. As here comes St. Clair the other way, shorthanded. Jesse St. Clair, 1-on-2, makes a move. St. Clair puts the brakes on. As we're nearing the halfway point of the third, it's 4-4. Here's St. Clair, will power his way towards the goal, taken down, rebound clear to the corner. Here's Baldwin, puts the brakes on as St. Clair fully charged out there on this penalty kill. Here's Swift. Swift over to Morris. Mason Morris enters this power play as that will be worked into the wall. Morris up top for Swift. Swift drops at the line for Cluett. Cluett back over to Swift, the top of the circle. Back up top for Cluett. He'll walk in and shoot one. Just goes past the top shelf. That one was labeled for the twine up behind the blocker's side. Here's Pay with a chance to clear. Sends it over to Wilson. Wilson will fire it down the ice. 15 seconds to go on the Hunters power play. As that's going to be played for Ludi. Will Ludi on hat-trick watch. He has 2 goals tonight. Here he comes down the right wing. Will Ludi makes a move over across for Urquhart off the bench. Urquhart can handle it cleanly. We're back to 5-on-5. Big kill for the Valleys. That will get past Worth of the blue line.
Here's a
Here
break.
comes Hood. Oh, Hood towards the net on the breakaway. Hood shot! Where is it? No goal. That
Under
one
his
kept
pad.
out. Not
Oh, it isn't.
there it is.
It isn't.
It is the goal. What is going on in this third period? Hunter
He waved
Hood.
it off.
They originally ruled no goal. We both saw the signal.
Absolutely.
Referees will discuss the play. This
That's
will
an
take
uh-oh.
us to the halfway point and our break. So we'll head to the break and we'll be right back to try and figure out what the heck just happened.
This stream is brought to you by Mr. Donair. Bring that classic Donair flavor home in minutes with Mr. Donair's Donair Kit, the original East Coast Donair. Perfect for game night. Want the full setup? Mr. Donair makes its own Donair sauce, Donair dunkers, and Donair sausages. And don't forget the Mr. Donair pizza when you want it simple and fast. You can grab Mr. Donair at Costco, Sobeys, Giant Tiger, Superstore, Gateway, and Needs. Mr. Donair, game night made easy. Now, back to the action.
Welcome back to Scotia 1. So that goal will count.
Carter Hood.
Hunter Hood with the goal. Originally signaled no goal. And then Polk, after the whistle, pulled it out of the net. And the referee immediately signaled goal. And that will be the call. So 5-4 is the score. 3 straight goals for the Valley here in the third period. So more drama in this final frame as that's going to be chipped into the Valley bench.
10 minutes, 33 seconds. Hood unassisted at 10:33.
Hunter Hood is now on hat-trick watch as well. That's his second of the game, and really he comes out of the box after taking the penalty. The puck got chipped out of the zone. A great burst of speed by him, picks the puck up and opened up. Noah Polk slid it 5-hole. I thought it went in, but then the ref signaled no goal, and it was in the back of the net. So now the Valley with a 1-goal lead.
Here's Conley with it. Valley has numbers. Here comes Fleming. Good back check from Gibbs as he prevents a potential scoring chance. Here's Betts up top. Betts will hesitate and then shoot one off the stick of McKnight. All of a sudden, it's all Valley here in the third period. Here's Conley out of the corner looking to center for Hood. Hood couldn't pull the trigger. He was well defended in front. Here comes Kalita the other way. Porter Kalita makes a move, but he can't get by Betts as he'll take a hit along the wall. Here's Martin back for Kalita, pass in front. Here's McKnight, shot blocked. Comes free up top. Here's Boudreau through the screen, and there it is. We're all tied once again.
What a third period.
It is loud here in the rink. What is going on? 5-5. We knew it'd be a good third period, Logan, but I could not predict something like this.
That's Boudreau's first goal, I think.
Was it?
I think so. They just took the puck.
What a time to get your first one. Celebrations on the bench. So 5-5 here in game 2.
We knew it was going to be a close game, but we didn't think it was going to be this high scoring of a game.
Wide open has this third period been. And there's an icing call. Gives us a chance to catch our breath here up in the booth. Wow. You want to talk about some midweek entertainment? Wednesday night hockey.
I don't know if you're going to find a better game, including the NHL tonight.
You got that right. Cluett against St. Clair for the draw. It's going to be one back. Here's Fletcher in the slot. Shot up the body in front. Here's Cluett. That's going to bounce past the stick of Hickey. Hickey. Swift will find it. He'll backhand one into the opposite corner. And that will be another icing call against the Hunters. Kalita gets the apple. So does McKnight. This Scotia 1 crowd has been treated to an absolute classic here in the inaugural Mr. Donair Cup. St. Clair, Fleming, and Fletcher out there for this draw in the ozone off the icing. Fleming getting lots of looks here in the third. He'll cycle it in deep. Here's Baldwin. Jack Baldwin can't clear. There's a pass towards the middle as Fleming was all alone in the front of the net. Puck bouncing in the crease, played to the line. Here's Hickey. Hickey, nice move as he takes a piece from Cluett. He'll work it in the corner. 7:45 to go here in the third. It's all tied at 5. Here's a shot off the pad of Polk. Fleming gets robbed in tight. Fletcher made the pass to find Fleming all alone as that'll be flicked through center. Puck bouncing as Wilson able to corral it. He'll play it through the middle of the ice. Chance it away. Here comes Fletcher with Fleming. Fletcher looking to feather it across. Good stick from Gibbs on the defensive side. Chance it away as Girard will corral the bouncing puck. Hunters will peel off for a change. Here comes Betts with a head of steam for the Valley. Betts gets the red line and will try and make a play. Turned over at the line. Here's St. Clair, takes a hit from Gibbs. Here's Worth. Liam Worth will try and clear. As that will be chipped off the boards, glove down. As Gerard will send it back in deep. Here is Gibbs. Plays it up ahead as Urquhart was unable to get a piece of that one. That will be an icing call. Inside 7 minutes to go here in the third. 5-5 is your score.
Well, I cannot say anyone had this as a prediction for any of this game tonight. I think we've had 3 different lead changes. 4 separate times they've been tied now. And yeah, this back and forth matchup between these two teams is going to continue, and what a treat we've had.
That's going to be captain of the line off the face-off win for the Valley in the offensive zone. That'll come free in the middle. Gibbs finds it. There's Schaefer Gibbs. He'll circle back towards zone end. Over to Worth. Worth will go off the wall, looking for Ludi. That'll bounce off of his skate. As Conley will dig it free. Here comes Conley, makes a few moves through center. Isaac Conley drops it for Fleming. Shot will go into the glove of Noah Polk. And he'll freeze play with 6.5 to go. Both sides to make changes. Shots now 33-25 in favor of the Valley. Noah Polk has 28 saves, 20 saves for Maddox. Newman on the other side. Puck is one back. Here's Swift. He'll play it up the boards. Urquhart can't clear. That's going to come free for Betzel. Fired in the opposite corner. Here's Swift. Swift over to Boudreau. Boudreau will fire it down, looking for Urquhart. That'll be no icing on the play. Betts against Urquhart for the loose puck. Urquhart wins the battle. Pass in front for Kalina. Kept out. Rebound batted out of midair by Gerard. Here's Martin. Takes the drop pass. Will hold on to it in the slot. Martin gets poked off the puck in the middle of the ice. That's going to come free the other way. Here comes Hines. Hines will work it wide. Can't get by Swift as they get tangled up in the bottom of the circle. Puck bouncing. Here's Boudreau off the D-to-D pass. Boudreau has his head up the ice, fans in the shot with a chance for Banks as that will make its way to the opposite boards. Valley is changing. Here's Swift. Up ahead for Braden Martin. Martin, nice move through center. Will try and drop it off, loses it. Jesse St. Clair will take over. Here comes St. Clair. Takes it wide towards the goal. St. Clair gets poked off the puck by Worth as Gibbs will find it and rim it around the wall. Kept in at the line by Hickey. Hickey takes a hit from Urquhart. And that is going to be questioned by the Valley bench. We'll play on with 5 minutes to go at 5-5. Bit of a word match there at center ice between Urquhart and Hickey, as that's going to be sent down the ice, and that will be icing. Pretty hard hit there on the opposite side of the ice. Referees looks like they're going to let the players determine how this game finishes, as Urquhart and Hickey still have a few words for each other. Hickey will remain out there. Urquhart has no choice because the Hunters just iced the puck. Out comes the top line for the Valley. Hood, Connolly, and Fleming looking to give the Wildcats a lead here late in the third. Hunters have a 1-0 series lead in this best of 5, looking to make it 2-0 heading over to Berwick, as that will be sent down the ice. And that'll be another icing. No, that's going to be deflected, so waved off by the opposite linesman. Here's Hickey. Hickey finds Hood, as the Hunters will send out their top line to counter the Valley first unit. Here's Worth. Cycles it for Gibbs. Schaefer Gibbs will work it up the wall. Gets it right back. Here's Gibbs. So slap shot one on goal. That will go wide past the blocker's side. Cluett finds it. Finds Baldwin. Baldwin poked off the puck by Gerard. Here comes Morgan Fleming with the puck on his stick. Fleming, nice move, gets by Gibbs. Fleming still has the puck, pass across. Hood, blocker save, no, it's in. Hood has the hat trick. It's 6-5. What a pass from Fleming. What a move to get by Gibbs. Hood has 3 tonight.
Yeah, Fleming with a move at the blue line that just fooled the defenseman. His head was pointed to the inside, his body was going to the inside. Those quick, like Connor McDavid type crossovers to get that defense to bite on the inside move and then quickly back to the outside. And you notice how he didn't pass it hard. He kind of left it there and kind of pushed it into an area where no one could get to it for anyone, and then just let his teammates skate right onto it. A great setup from number 72 and a great finish from the leading goal getter in the regular season in Hood, who's got 3 here tonight.
There's a big hit from Boudreau on St. Clair. Valley has once again taken the lead. Another lead change here in this third period. Girard will play in the opposite corner. 3:45 to go here in regulation of game number 2. There's Swift up for Baldwin. He finds Cluett. Chance for the Hunters of numbers. Baldwin's shot will be blocked by Girard. Comes free behind the net. Belleville will work it ahead. He gets taken down. No call on the play. Here comes Betts the other way. Betts with St. Clair. Past the window for Fletcher. Shot will be stopped by Pog.
Talk about a back and forth game. We've had 4 different ties and 4 separate lead changes in this game alone.
How could you not love the Mr. Donair Cup? Been a great series so far in the first ever edition of the tournament. 3:20 to go. Out comes the top line once again. Hood just scored the hat trick to give the Valley the lead once again here in the third. Here's Fleming. Shot will just go wide past the blocker's side. This line is feeling it right now. Here's Hickey. Hickey up for Hood. Hood shot tipped on goal. That will go off the pad and wide. 3 minutes to go now here in the final period of regulation. Fleming has it. Up for Wilson. Wilson fanning the shot, makes its way down deep as Hood takes a slash from Boudreau. Swift will work it free. Here's Morris. Morris down and deep for Swift over to Boudreau. Boudreau has a goal in this game, his first of the season. He'll flick it through center. That'll bounce his way on the stick of Hickey. He finds Hood. Hood over to Connolly. Here come the Valley. Connolly shot off the blocker. Rebound will bounce its way to the wall. Here's Morris up for Gibbs. Schaefer Gibbs with 2.5 to go here in the third. He'll flick it into the zone. Newman up to play it. He finds Wilson. Wilson over the opposite wall as Pay collects the loose puck. Pay up for Hood, just out of his reach. That's going to be kept in by Morris. Puck bouncing. There's a hit by Gibbs. Alfrey with the puck. Hickey finds it. Hickey over to Wilson. Through the middle. That will miss the stick as Gibbs will make a nice spin move in center ice. Here's Gibbs. Chops it off. As penalty behind the play. Hunters went to the man advantage. 2 minutes to go in the third. Shot scores! Urquhart into the top shelf. And we are tied again.
Wow! Wow, that's all I have to say is wow.
Game.
This has just been back and forth, up and down. The emotions, I couldn't even imagine playing in this game tonight.
God, man.
You're up by 2, you're down, you're tied, you're even. It's all over the place. This has been awesome.
You know the coaches hate this game on both sides, but up here in the booth, we love it.
Few hairs lost and a couple turned gray down on each bench tonight.
6-6 here in the third. 2 minutes to go. Urquhart goes top shelf on the delayed penalty call. What a third period. We knew it would be good, but who knew it would be this good? Here's Swift. He can't clear. Kept in by Fletcher. He'll go skate to stick. Fletcher works it down low. Fletcher will play it in front. Comes free up top for Girard. That's going to be whistled down. That comes off.
We've seen 8 goals in this period alone, Mason.
8 goals in the third.
8 goals in one period, 4 for each team. It was tied 2-2
Unbelievable.
going into this period. And now we got a minute 44 left and we're knotted up at 6s. Who would have thought that would have happened?
Mr. Donair Cup has brought the best out of these two teams. 6-6 here late in the third period. Here's McKnight. He'll try and work it ahead. Liam McKnight had a goal in game 1. He'll work it up ahead. That's going to be picked off. As Boudreau finds it on his own blue line, he'll try and work it free. As that will be sent into the zone. There's a penalty on the play as Amos St. Clair draws the call. It'll be a Valley power play. Interference is the call.
Yeah, Boudreau just got tied, caught with his feet flat-footed, tied up Sinclair, and
That's right.
A late power play for the Valley. It was going to be a power play for the Hunters, but then they scored, so that took that away. And now a late chance here with 1:21 on the clock for the Valley to regain a lead.
Connolly, Hood, Pay, Betts, and Fleming right back out there for this man advantage. That's going to be one back, but out of the reach of Betts. Forced to retreat at center. Here's Fleming. What a game he's had tonight. Back for Betts. Betts chops it for Hood. Talk about great games. He has 3 goals. A centering pass will come free for Cluett. Here comes Justin Cluett as we approach the last minute of play here in the third. Here's Betts. Gets the puck back for the Valley on the power play. Looking to spring it up ahead for Connolly. Picked off by Swift. Here's Dawson Swift.
Smart play.
Play it back to try and kill some clock inside his own zone. Cluett back to retrieve it. He'll slowly make his way to the puck and fire it right down the ice. As Belva was there to collect the dump in. Here's Betts. He'll leave it down low. Connolly there to collect it as Fleming pitches it ahead. Back for Betts. 35 seconds to go here in the third. Here's Betts. Enters his zone. Shot will off the stick of Swift in the corner. Here's St. Clair on the half wall. Up top for Fleming. Fleming hesitates and shoots one through the screen. Polk finds it and makes a save, and he'll freeze play. With 24 seconds on the clock. 1:02 to go on the power play.
Timeout, Wildcats.
There's a timeout called, so we'll take a quick break up here in the booth. We'll be right back for the final 24 seconds after a quick message from Mr. Donair.
This stream is brought to you by Mr. Donair. Bring that classic Donair flavor home in minutes with Mr. Donair's Donair Kit, the original East Coast Donair. Perfect for game night. Want the full setup? Mr. Donair makes its own Donair sauce, Donair dunkers, and Donair sausages. And don't forget the Mr. Donair pizza when you want it simple and fast. You can grab Mr. Donair at Costco, Sobeys, Giant Tiger, Superstore, Gateway, and Needs. Mr. Donair, game night made easy. Now back to the action.
Timeout over. 24 seconds on the clock. 6-6 is your score. Valley still in the power play. They rest their top guys to finish off regulation up a man. Fleming, Hood, Connolly, Betts, and Fletcher out there to replace Pay. Ludi, Gibbs, Baldwin, and Swift are the 4 out there trying to clear this down the ice and send this game to overtime, perhaps. Puck drop, one back for Betts, the blue line. Betts will walk in and pass towards the goal. Here's Fletcher all alone. Connolly couldn't finish it off. Polk with the paddle makes the save in tight. That was a great design face-off play. Connolly was all alone in front of the net, but couldn't roof it. Here's Fletcher, 5 seconds to go. Fletcher at the goal line will wrap it across, shot at the goal line. That's gonna be kept out of the buzzer.
Could you imagine another buzzer beater?
I don't know what to expect anymore. I thought I knew this game of hockey pretty well, but after that third period, I don't know. So 6-6 after regulation. We're heading to overtime here. Looks like we'll have 10 minutes. Not sure what the formation will be, if it'll be 5-on-5, 4-on-4. We'll figure that out.
I think it'll be 4-on-3. Power play for the Wildcats.
We'll find out after the quick break here. We'll see you in a few moments for overtime. Pretty good game. This is like the Cougars game, kind of. Well, folks, what a game it's been so far. 6-6 after regulation. Looks like we'll play 10 minutes overtime, trying to figure out whether it'll be 5-on-4, 4-on-3. Still a minute left in the break here before we start the extra frame. Who has caught your eye here in this game, Logan? I bet there's a few players, but...
Well, yeah, I mean, Hood, I guess you could say for the Wildcats, I mean, he's got 3 goals on the night.
He does, yeah.
But Fleming, I mean, he's been really leading their team all playoffs long. I think he's got 4 points tonight. Really good at setting his teammates up. But on the other side, I've liked Ludy's game. I've liked a few other players. I thought Andrew Urquhart played a really solid third period. But yeah, I mean, really, there's so many players you could highlight in this game that have played well. So I can't really pick out one, but
either way, we've all been entertained throughout this game, and we need one more goal to decide a winner after 12 between the two teams, as the Valley will start the overtime on the power play. As there's a hit from Gibbs on Fleming. Swift with a chance to clear. So it will be 5-on-4, then 5-on-5 after the penalty's over, unless they, of course, score a goal. The right way to play overtime in a playoff-style game instead of 3-on-3. Here's Cluett looking to try and clear, and he does. Cluett looking for Beliveau. That'll be out of his reach. Betts back to retrieve it. Here's Nate Betts with 2 seconds to go on the power play. Beliveau on the forecheck as we're back to 5 apiece. So a big kill at the end of regulation for the Hunters that carried into overtime. As Hood, with 3 goals tonight, he'll chip into the zone. Swift and Hood looking for the loose puck. Comes free in front. That'll bounce over the stick of Fleming. Here's Girard. He'll try and work it in deep, and that will make its way to the wall. Gibbs down low for Swift. Swift will flick it through center of the ice as Girard, last man back for the Valley, and that will be no icing. We're 1 minute into overtime here in game number 2. Valley looking to try and prevent it from going 0-2 against them, looking to tie the series at 1 apiece, heading over to Berwick. Here is Girard. Girard hesitates, will make the play up the ice, finds Fletcher. Here comes the Valley. Fletcher towards the goal as St. Clair couldn't get a stick on that one. Here is Fletcher again behind the net. Nolan Fletcher loses the puck. Here comes Urquhart the other way. Urquhart might have a step towards the goal. Andrew Urquhart's all alone for the backhand. Kept out by Newman. Stretches out the legs. Rebound sent towards the goal. That was going to be blocked in front. What a save from Newman in overtime. Here comes Fletcher the other way. Drops it off through St. Clair on the backhand towards the goal. Forehand. Kept out. Rebound stopped as well. Net comes off. Now we'll stop play. Chances on both sides of the ice here at OT.
yeah, we talked about Andrew Urquhart right at the start of this period. I said he had a good third period, and you saw him carry it into overtime right there. He picked it up right off the guy's stick. He was like almost like, oh, thank you, pickpocket, right up the middle of the ice, right down. And honestly, Mason, I think if instead of trying to elevate it up, if he would have pulled it and just tucked it around the pad, I think he would have scored that goal. But then you go down 200 feet, and Noah Polk makes 2 back-to-back pad saves in tight to keep this game alive.
There's Gibbs. As his pass for Martin will be intercepted. Betts up for Connolly. Here comes the Valley. Connolly will work it down low, looking for Hood. Hood has the hot stick tonight. Doesn't have another one here in overtime. Connolly makes the move up for Hood. Hood towards the goal. That's going to be blocked in front. Here's Fleming up top for Wilson. Wilson back for Fleming on the half wall. Here's Morgan Fleming down low. Pass in front looking for Hood. That's going to go off the stick. Good try there from Connolly looking to set up the game winner. Here's Swift. Dawson Swift will hesitate in his own zone. Valley will make some changes. Swift still has the puck. Will enter the zone. That's going to be offside. As we see Zach Banks getting an overtime shift for the Valley. He's definitely earned his trust. Had a great game so far, the U18 AAA call-up.
Yeah, and 5-on-5 overtime is different than the 3-on-3 overtime, right? You gotta be able to play a full lineup for 10 minutes, and getting a shift here in overtime to try to win it is the call-up.
Here comes Pay. He'll try and work it through the legs of Worth. Can't get that one on net. Pay gets it back. He'll center it. Picked off. Here comes Beliveau with Cluett. 2-on-2. Drops it for Cluett. Here's Justin Cluett will look for a lane, hold on to the puck behind the net. Put in front looking for Belleville. Couldn't get that one on net. That will get past the blue line as Worth forced to escape back in his own end. Here is Liam Worth. Will circle back in overtime. Has Pay on the forward check. That will come free for Pay. Here's Pay towards the slot. That's going to be picked off by Baldwin. Good anticipation from Jack Baldwin in his own zone. Hickey takes the DDD pass as Belleville trying to pressure him. As there's a collision right below us here in the booth. That's going to be sent in deep. Here's Boudreau. Peyton Boudreau, 6.5 to go here in the first overtime. As that'll be chipped up and high and into the netting. Gibbs, Morris, Urquhart, Swift out there with Ludi. Fletcher, St. Clair, Wilson, Jess St. Clair, and Betts. So both St. Clairs out there as they will drop that puck and neutral ice. 6:25 to go here in overtime. Game 2 still needs a winner after regulation. Puck is dropped. Gibbs over to Swift, back for Gibbs. The captain for the Hunters has the puck in his own zone. Back for Swift. Swift will send it in deep as Newman collects the dump in. Go forehand over to Wilson. Wilson up ahead. Here comes Jesse St. Clair, the captain for the Valley. Lose the puck to the captain of the Hunters. He'll play it back for Swift. Dawson Swift in front of his own crease. Plays the puck. Drops it off. Here is Andrew Urquhart, the rookie. Has the puck behind his own net. Inside 6 minutes to go in overtime. Urquhart will try and bait out Fletcher on the forecheck. Makes the play up for Mason Morris. Morris goes wide, makes a move. Morris still has it. Shot! That will make its way into the net! Hunters win the game. They're up 2-0 in the series. Mason Morris squeaks one by Newman.
What a goal. What a goal. He was almost caught in the neutral zone. He used his speed to get around the man, and then the defenseman bit on the move, pulled it around him, and a fortunate bounce. I think it might have hit a defenseman. A little bit of rough stuff here. As Urquhart got under the skid of the man there.
Just when we thought this game was over.
Yeah, and well, we've seen just about everything tonight. We've seen 13 goals. We've seen a little bit of scrums. We've seen 4 different tie games, 4 different lead exchanges, well, 5 now. It's just had everything, and what a game. Thank you for tuning in on High Button Sports. Mason, Logan, thank you once again for tuning in. That's all from the Cole Harbour Place for the Mr. Donair Cup. We'll see you Game 3, and it could be the Hunters taking it all home in the first ever Mr. Donair Cup.